Kidding? Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get there.
Ooh, I love this song.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello and welcome to episode 230 of the Rotten Views podcast. I just want to start off by saying thank you again for each and every single one of you that come back each and every single week to listen to me talk about movies. I really don't know what you're doing here. I don't know why you come back each and every single week to listen to me, little old me, talk about movies. But I appreciate it, and I'm glad that you can make, an hour or whatever the run time might be for each episode and come back each week. It really does mean a lot, and I do this just because I love movies. I love watching things I haven't actually seen before. I love watching old movies, and I enjoy talking about them. It might not be my strong suit by any means, but I enjoy doing it nonetheless. But before we do get too far into the episode, I know the intro just played, but let's do a little bit of housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
Don't think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towel?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God!
It's really early in the morning that we're doing this episode for once. For once, we're not doing, sometimes it's like midnight or 1 a.m. when we do the podcast. So technically 1 a.m. is morning, but this is like 5 a.m. right now when we're doing the podcast. So I might be a little bit tired, but it's okay. I got coffee and we're going to be okay. We'll get through this together. We got a fun one for you guys today. But before we do get into that, I just want to say again, thank you everyone for showing up. If you guys want to, if you feel the need to, if you would like to, go on Spotify, give it a star rating. I'm not going to ask you for a 5-star rating. Just give me whatever star rating you think it deserves. 3-star, 2-star, whatever. 1 star, I'm probably going to put a curse on you, and you're going to have a horrible Halloween when it comes around this year. But that's besides the point. I'm kidding. I wouldn't actually curse you guys. Just give whatever rating you think it deserves. On iTunes or Apple, whatever. Leave a review. If you have issues finding it, hopefully the links down below will help you out. I think there's an iTunes link in my link tree for the podcast down in the description. Hopefully there is. I will probably double check that to make sure now that I've just said that. If you're on CastBox, if there's a review section on there, leave a review. But the main thing that you guys can do that helps out the podcast a lot, just hit that share button. That share button does mean a lot, and it helps out a lot. Gets the podcast out to new ears, new listeners. So I appreciate that. Also, if you guys are bored and want more free content, make sure to follow my links down below at Typhenstein. Find me on all social medias. We're on X, we're on Threads, we're on Instagram, TikTok. If it's here, if it's not, I don't know with you Americans, if it's banned 1 minute, not banned the next minute, I don't know. I know in Canada, it's fine. I don't use it that often, but it's there. The main things are, though, you can find me on Instagram. There's the Facebook page. And the main thing, though, that we've been promoting is the YouTube channel. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel. We got the weekly game video dropping every single Wednesday. Various art videos over there, shorts. We have live streams over there as well. Haven't been live streaming on that platform as much because we've been live streaming on Twitch, so definitely go check out the Twitch channel as well. But once we do hit 1,000 subs on the YouTube channel, gonna be giving away some free artwork, so definitely go hit that share button, like the channel, subscribe to it, hit the bell notifications. That way you get notified every time we post a new video or go live, because I will be doing some live art streams over there as well, because they seem to do a little bit better on YouTube than Twitch. But yeah, if you want some gaming content, go check out the Twitch channel. Go go follow it, like it, whatever the proper term is. If you want to sub to it, that's cool too. I like subs. Subs are fine. I like pizza subs. Pizza subs are good. But besides the point, we're not talking about food this early in the morning because I don't even want to think about the concept of food. But yeah, if you guys can follow that stuff, I highly, highly appreciate it, and thank you very much for doing so. But with that being said, we are here to talk about a fun movie. Well, what I hope to be a fun movie, because I haven't actually watched it yet. I used to love watching the TV show as a kid, but I haven't revisited in a while. But I actually had been picking up the ALF action figures. Went to Toys R Us. Yeah, there's still a thing here in Canada, Toys R Us. They had a couple action figures for like $20. Picked up one of them just because he was like in a Hawaiian shirt. It looked like cool. It's still in the package. I'm never going to open the goddamn thing, but it's cool nonetheless. But yeah, as you can tell from the title above, is we're watching ALF. We're watching Project ALF from 1996. It's an hour and 35 minutes. You can watch it for free on Tubi. You know, you got a free program right there. You got to watch a couple commercials every now and then, but it's free, so don't complain. I'm kind of curious how Project ALF holds up to the ALF cartoon, which I actually revisited late last year. I thought it was a fun cartoon. It has a nice art style. It's definitely an older cartoon, of course, but that's besides the point. But yeah, for this movie, like I said, you can watch it free on Tubi. It's also apparently on Plex. It has a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently 87% of Google users have enjoyed this movie. Initial release date was May 9th, 1996. And of course, it's on the ABC network. The description for tonight's movie, as read from IMDb: captured by the alien task force, ALF was rescued by two officers who found out that the project shall be cancelled, and also ALF will be cancelled as well. This movie is directed by Dick Lowry. Some of Dick's movies that he's worked on in the past. In 1997, he was director for the TV movie Last Stand at Saber River. I feel like we talked about that movie a couple nights ago, or not a couple nights ago, a couple podcasts ago. Wow, I'm really tired. The words are going to be horrible today. But he was also the director for 1983's Smokey and the Bandit Part 3. Pretty sure Part 3 is horrible. Is there like 4 or 5 Bandit movies? I feel like there's at least 4 Bandit movies. I feel like Part 3 is one of the bad ones. I'm not trying to be an asshole to him at all, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the bad ones. He's also the director for the 1980 movie Kenny Rogers as the Gambler, as well as he did 3 episodes in 1979 of the TV series Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Other than that, he hasn't done anything that I really want to mention. He's done a ton of TV movies, though. Made for TV movies. They're not good enough to hit the theaters for the most part, but that doesn't mean they're horrible movies by any means. That just means they are a little bit lower quality, but sometimes those lower quality movies are the best movies. So maybe some of these movies are gems. I just don't know about them. This movie has 2 writers credited to it, and the first one we're going to talk about is Tom Patchett. I might have butchered that last name. He was a producer for 26 episodes of Buffalo Bill from 1983 to 1984. He was the producer for 101 episodes of the ALF TV show from 1986 to 2004. 2004? Really? What? Anyways, he is also the producer for 72 episodes of the Bob Newhart show from 1974 to 1977, as well as the producer for 13 episodes of Open All Night from 1981 to 1982. That's one I don't know about. I've never even heard of that one before. Also, he was the executive producer for 13 episodes from 1988 to 1989 of the ALF cartoon, as well as in 1988 to 1999 he also did a TV series called ALF Tales, which I've never even heard of that one before, so we're probably gonna have to check that one out at some point in time. The other writer for this one is Paul Fusco. I might have butchered that name as well. But yeah, he plays actual ALF. He's been in it for 103 episodes from 1986 to 2004. He's also ALF in this movie, of course, which is good. He's also ALF in the ALF Tales, what looks to be a cartoon series. So it's good that he's reprising the role for all these ALF movies. In 2008, he was also in the editorial department for the Disaster movie, of all things. And pretty much anything that has an ALF appearance, he's in. He's apparently in Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal, the movie, where he plays the ALF voice in 2016. 2016 as well, he's in Mr. Robot TV show. He's in an episode of Young Sheldon, an episode of Duncanville, which I've never heard of before. 2023, I'm a little bit behind on The Simpsons, but apparently he's in an episode of The Simpsons. And yeah, it just goes on and on and on. Also, he's in 13 episodes of in 1991 of a TV show called Space Cats, where he plays Captain Catgut. Captain Catgut. Maybe we'll have to watch that character. I'm just curious what Captain Catgut looks like. I'm just very, very curious at this point in time. Now we're at that part in time where we talk about some of the actors in the movie. Of course, we just mentioned the guy who does the voice for ALF. We're not going to talk about the puppeteers because I'm pretty sure there's like 5 puppeteers that actually work on the ALF like puppeteering. So that'd be a little bit difficult to discuss, but we're going to talk about the top 2 actors listed on IMDb, and we're going to talk about Miguel Ferrer, who plays Dexter Myers. It's supposed to be Myers. It's kind of old, so anyways, apparently in 2017 to 2018, he's in 11 episodes of Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters. When does Stretch Armstrong come back? I don't remember that coming back at all. I guess I'm a little bit behind. He's also in 115 episodes of NCIS Los Angeles as Owen Granger. I don't really watch NCIS, so I don't know who that character is at all. He does a lot of TV appearances by the looks of it. From doing voice acting to actual TV shows. 2010, he was in an episode of Psych. In 2009, he was in an episode of Lie to Me. He was in 2 episodes in 2009 of the Spectacular Spider-Man show, where he plays Silvermane. He's in CSI, Law and Order Criminal Intent, Medium, Justice League, The New Frontier, and the list goes on and on and on. He's in Crossing Jordan. I don't know that TV show, but he's in 117 episodes of that, where he plays Dr. Garrett Macy. I don't know that show, so I can't talk about that one. The next actor we're going to talk about is William O'Leary, playing Captain Rick Mulliken. Apparently he's in Hot Shots in 1981, where he plays Pete Dead Meat Thompson. I'm gonna have to revisit that movie because that's been a long time since I watched that one. He's also in Bull Durham, 1988, where he plays the character Jimmy. I don't remember that movie at all. I know the title of it, but I just don't know the actual premise of the movie at all. He's in 3 episodes of Shameless in 2020, where he plays Sergeant Rucker, and again he's in a lot of other TV shows, just showing up for 1 episodes here and there. Nothing that's really catching my eye, other than he's in an episode of Bosch in 2016, where he plays Vincent Ackles, and I think that's a really good cop show. Definitely highly recommended on Amazon. The tagline for this movie is "Call the government, alert the media, hide the cat, Elf's back." I actually like that tagline. That's actually creative, and the fact that they mentioned about the cat, because Alf likes to eat cats, because apparently that's what they eat, and I'm okay with that. Just saying. Alright, I think we've hit all the points that we want to mention about this movie before we do get into it. So, with that being said, this is going to be your only warning, I guess, at this point in time. If you don't want to be spoiled on this movie that came out in 1996, feel free to pause the episode now, because what I like to do with the podcast, I talk about a movie from start to finish and hit all the points in between that interests me. So this is going to be spoiler filled. So this is your warning. Feel free to pause now, go watch it on Plex or Tubi. Apparently you can also rent it on Amazon, but if you can watch it on an app for free, why not watch it for free? We can always afford to save some money for, groceries or whatever it might be. But with that being said, we're going to get ready to start talking about this movie. Sit back, relax. If you're at home, get some snacks, whatever it might be. If you're at work, hopefully this helps you get through the day. And if you're listening in the car, like I know a lot of you guys do, make sure to just keep your eyes on the road. Just stay focused on where you're going and what you're doing. Alright? Don't be looking down at your phone. Don't do it, Timmy. I know you want to look down at your phone and text, but don't be playing Pokemon Go either while you're driving. I'm pretty sure there's a thing that pops up saying if you're driving or not. But don't do it, okay? Even if you're in a Tesla, don't be doing it. If you're in a Tesla also, if you want to shoot me some money, that's cool. I appreciate it. I wouldn't say no. Just saying. I honestly don't know what even the price range of a Tesla is. So I'm assuming it's not cheap. So I'm assuming if you got one, unless you're making car payments and you're going paycheck to paycheck. I don't know why you'd have a Tesla then at that point in time. But yeah, you can shoot me some money. Just go ahead. Just click the coffee link down below in the description. Besides that, let's get ready to talk about the podcast, or talk about the movie at hand. I am still so goddamn tired. So this is going to be a fun episode.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
hidden in the vastness of the great American desert, is the world's most secret project.
This panel has convened to render a decision as to the immediate future of the alien life form known as ALF.
Hi! All right, take your time, get over the initial shock.
Presenting the return of one of the universe's most loved critters.
Oh, please. And I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Do I have to come up with funny answers? Medic!
In a battle to the death with one of Hollywood's most respected stars.
Why don't you just stab me?
You Listen to me, you furry little freak. When we exterminate you, we're going to be sending a message to every other extraterrestrial out there. We will no longer be intimidated. Not me, not my mama, not anyone.
Your mama? Did he say his mama?
We found Alf to be a warm, friendly, occasionally annoying, but highly intelligent creature.
How do you feel about dating outside of your species?
It wouldn't be the first time.
Isn't she delightful?
The Mensch from Melmac is back.
Yeah.
And now, he's an alien with an attitude.
Now, I hope you're not trying to win any prizes with those outfits. The village people uniform's okay, but that dog suit's the worst.
Permission to bite the bouncer, sir.
Sir, Alf is a menace to society and ought to be incinerated.
Don't you mean incarcerated, sir?
No.
Once people know Alf exists, he'll be safe.
You want to go public with Alf? And let's not forget the merchandising possibilities.
Do you really want to see Alf dolls in all the toy stores?
As long as they're plush. I don't render well in vinyl.
Miguel Ferrer, William O'Leary, Beverly Archer, John Shuck, Ed Begley Jr., Ray Walston, and Martin Sheen.
There's a very thin line between mutilating cows and eating cats.
For the record, he never ate the cat.
Project Alf.
So we got the movie starting out with the WIN Network, World International Network or something. I forget what I said. I've never seen that logo pop up on anything before. Is that like a TV broadcast production logo or what is it? I really honestly don't know at all. But then we just cut right into the movie. It's nighttime. We see a bunch of army trucks going down this desert road and then it just pops up with the Project Elf stamp font on the screen. And, you know, it's classic. You know, it's just like an old army style stamp. There's not much to it, but it works. We see a bunch of those old school style army Hummers just driving down, and they're escorting a limo through a military base somewhere in the desert. And then we see a sign that says Edmonds Air Force Base. It was the quality of the picture, I'm not gonna lie, is a little bit blurry. Therefore, I'm also a little bit tired, so therefore my eyes are probably not fully adjusted. As the intro credits are rolling in, they're driving into this giant warehouse-looking building, like hangar building, that has like 2 tables at the end of it and chairs. And we also see in the intro credit, this movie apparently also has Martin Sheen in it. We see a bunch of people coming out of limos, and then we see a file being thrown down on one of the desks that just says Top Secret Project L. We see that this is a meeting between all the bigwigs, you know, all the fancy people, and we see that apparently Martin Sheen is the head of security for the alien task force. He's like the head honcho of all things, which I'm surprised he's not listed farther up on the IMDb, because he's not listed anywhere, to be honest with you. You literally have to scroll all the way down to the last person listed on the top page to even find him listed. That's why I didn't know he was in the movie originally. Then we see one of our leads, William O'Leary, Captain Rick Malkin, where he's one of the top people that's monitoring, I guess, all the tests that happen on Project Elf to make sure that Elf is alright. That's when we find out Captain Malkin and Major Hill, they actually want to release Elf, where actual Martin Sheen's character, he wants to actually just eliminate Elf altogether and be like, I just don't want any aliens around here at all. I just want to eliminate them, get them out of here. And Hill stand up and be like, they're aliens because we alienate them from society. We can't be doing that to them. They're friendly, you know, they're kind of annoying, they're kind of smart, but you know, we just annihilate them from society, so that's why we call them aliens. One of the ladies on the board, I think she's from the Pentagon, explains that Alf's planet got destroyed and how he crashed into the Tanner's home, into the garage actually. And Martin Sheen's character is like, you know, the alien set off a lot of fires, you know, because the alien didn't know what it was doing. And then Hill's like, you know what? Tanner and the alien actually got together, like the family as a whole, got along with Elf, you know, and they had no issues with Elf. We come to find out that the Tanners apparently are on witness protection now, and they don't have a phone yet, so the board can't contact them to get their opinion on how they liked Elf, because, you know, Martin Sheen's character just wants to kill Elf, because that's the kind of character he's going to be for this movie, and we understand now that Hill and Mulligan are going to be the ones that try to rescue Elf so he doesn't get destroyed. We also find out that, you know, by listening to it, that this movie takes place after the end of the TV show. And I believe the cartoon series actually takes place before the TV show. So I like that they're all kind of connected together, you know, in different ways. And then we cut to some footage of Elf in a a science room where doctor's like, can I call you Alf? He's like, well, if you insist, can I ask you some questions? He's like, do I have to come up with funny answers to answer these questions? And that was like another day where we see Dr. Warner coming back in to talk to Alf. And Alf is like in a chair. Well, it looks like an electrocution chair. And there's a bunch of cords going all over the place. He's like, good morning, Alf. He's like, yeah, really good morning. Yeah, I'm stuck in this chair. He's like, I'm going to have to conduct some tests. And I was like, I don't really like you using that word, because connected to this chair, we see a sign, right? Connected to it that says danger, high voltage. And Dr. Warner's like, oh, don't worry about that sign. That sign's nothing. If that sign's bothering you too much, I'll just unscrew it and take it off. So Warner goes over to unscrew the sign to take it off, gets electrocuted. And Alf's just like, medic, I think he's dead. Medic. It's the next day now, and it's another doctor, and he's like, hello, Alf, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Newman. And Alf's like, no question who you're replacing. I'm a little bit shocked right now, to be honest with you, seeing there's still a burnt outline on the floor below me where the former doctor, burnt to death. And Newman's like, it's actually been determined that Dr. Warner had a heart condition. It's just a minor shock and kind of caused all the stuff to happen. That's why he passed away. It wasn't actually the equipment at all. And I was like, the guy was cooked inside of his shoes. His glasses were fused to his skull. And then Newman's like, stop the tape. Come on, stop the tape. We can't be talking about this. Stop the tape. And we meet Dr. Stanley. He's like, where's Dr. Newman? He's like, he's taking some time off to just, get his head together. He's like, so you heard about Dr. Warner then, huh? He's like, yeah, he had a heart condition. He's, he was cooked to death, electrocuted. Then Stanley does a word association game, and everything that Alf associates with the words is food related. So then Stanley's like, should we stop and get you some food? He's like, I've been starving. So then we see him eating, and there's numerous hamburger wraps all over the place. There's some KFC, there's garbage all over the place, and it looks like he ate enough food for probably 10 people. So then they start doing the word game again, and Dr. Stanley, does the word toast. So he's like, Dr. Warner. And then he says cold. Dr. Warner again. And Dr. Stanley gets really annoyed at Alf. So then we cut to see Alf inside this chair that's just spinning around very quickly inside a room. And we just see Alf screaming for his life, because we just see doctors watching as this chair for some reason just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. And then we meet Dr. Mockton, and he's like, I'm going to show you some ink splot. And Alf's like, is this going to involve electric shock? He's like, let's not talk about that again. Let's change the subject. Then we see another doctor walk in. This is the first female doctor. Her name is Dr. Carnage. And as soon as she sits down and says her name, he's like, yikes. He's like, yikes to yourself as well. Carnage is asking him about his spaceship. He's like, I had a spaceship. It's actually a pile of rubbish and just pieces all over the place. I don't have a spaceship. And then we see them doing a crash test thing, and then it crashes, and then we just hear someone yelling and screaming to bring the jaws of life. And that's when they cut watching the footage, and he's like, see, that test footage right there just shows that you're trying to kill the alien. And Martin Sheen's character is like, he had an airbag, he's fine. So the council people are like, so where is Alf now? And Sheen's like, he's underneath the base, he's being fully guarded by security, and he can't go anywhere at all. And then we see a close-up of Alf, and a couple soldiers like, what are you going to do now, Alf, huh? And we find Alf sitting around a poker table, playing poker with a bunch of guards, having fun, just drinking, eating some chips, and they want to pull up the Mike Tyson fight. He's like, who would have thought that prison would have made Mike Tyson meaner? He's also drinking some Budweisers, apparently, by the looks of the table. And then one of the other guards is going over, Rhomboid, I think is his name, is going over what Alf's schedule is for next week or tomorrow. I forget what day it was. He's like, got a massage in the morning. He's like, gotta make sure there's no hot oils this time. You got a hair coloring, a little haircut. Got a 3 o'clock lunch. You're gonna be fine. So we see the hearing is being adjourned. And before that happens, Martin Sheen's character is not too happy, because the main guy behind the hearing tells Sheen not to do any more testing on Alf at all, and just to leave him alone, and we'll monitor him, but no more tests that are going to injure him or cause any harm to him at all. Then we see Martin Sheen's character in his office talking to his second lieutenant Harold Reese, and Sheen's character is like, Reese, I didn't have a mother. Actually, I did have a mother, but she was carried away when I was 12 because she was loony as a bat. And she would talk about the strangest things, talk about aliens, bizarre rings, and burnt in the fields, but nobody would take her seriously. And now we're dealing with an alien here. And Sheen says that his mother was abducted and that they twisted her mind and clouded her thoughts and just made her question everything and made her loopy. And that's the reason why he hates Elf so much, because he's an alien. Reese is like, do you really think Elf is that much of a trouble? And Sheen's character's like, there's a very fine line between mutilating cows and eating cats. He's like, alright, I guess fair point, sir. So then Sheen gives Reese some paperwork, being like, I want you to go up to the lab and get the serum. You know, we got some top secret stuff we need to get dealing with. And Reese is pretty stupid, because Reese is just like, oh, I'm going to get my first lieutenant badge on my shirt here, and I'll do whatever, just to get higher up in the rankings. He's playing that dumb secondhand man. It's a gimmick character of the 90s, 80s movies. So we see Mulligan in his office talking to another guard, and then Hill comes in, and the officer's like, I'm gonna go get an apple juice, and I'm gonna be a couple hours. So then Hill's like, so I'm being transferred first thing in the morning, and that's Martin Sheen's orders to just separate us, because we're both working together to try and save Alf. And then their guard comes in, being like, hey, here's some paperwork. Reese is here to pick up some biohazard chemicals. And they're like, what's going on here? So we find out that apparently Reese is trying to get into the biohazard area where the vaccines are for the bio warfare, fight. I don't know. Anyways, then Hill calls up to see if Alf is okay, because Alf is also contained in the same area, and they're just not, they're not really respecting Reese because he's an idiot, and they know he's not supposed to be there for any reason, so why is he probably trying to get access down there? So they know something fishy's up. Hill's also calling to wonder what Elf's schedule is for tomorrow, because apparently it goes, they have a whole schedule set around Elf, and they find out that Elf's pedicure has been changed to a different time. So like, something's definitely up. They wouldn't just change his pedicure for no reason. So then we find out Mulligan and Hill are getting ready to actually capture and kidnap Alf, and Mulligan's like, where are we going to take him? Neverend Ranch? It's the only place it's not going to be detected. But what are we going to do? We can't just steal him. It's like, we can. We're going to save his life, because if we don't kidnap him, something bad's going to happen to him. The guard on watch of Alf, it's like really late at night. He's like, you don't want to go talk to Alf or wake him up. He gets a little cranky unless it's time for his midnight pizza, which I guess actually should be showing up any time here now. So I guess you can go in and talk to him. So they go into his holding area. He's got like cases of VHS tapes. He's got a roulette table, poker table, and they see Alf asleep with a face mask on in bed. He's like, hey, easy with the face mask. I got cold cream on. What are you guys doing here? That's when they mention to Alf, like, you're scheduled for a test tomorrow. And he's like, it's probably just because of my high cholesterol. And he's like, no, you're in serious danger. If Sheen tests you tomorrow with the shot, you're going to die. He's like, well, is it cherry flavor? He's like, no, it's poison. He's like, so you're saying it's not cherry flavor though, right? They want Alf to go willingly, so he's sitting there thinking, and he's like, I'm thinking, it's a lot to think about, okay? So then Mulligan just pricks him with a needle. He's like, relax, stop the scream, it's a sedative. He's like, I'm gonna add to your deathbed, and then Alf just passes out. So then the pizza guy shows up, or the army guy with the pizza shows up, and of course Alf's passed out. So then Mulligan has to do his best Elf impression. He's like, slide it under the door. He's like, well, it won't fit. He's like, oh, just leave it out there. He's like, well, what about this flaming disc? And you hear the guy saying, ow, it's hot. He's like, just extinguish it and enjoy it. He's like, oh, thanks for the free food then, I guess. You see them having Alf in a bag, and they're trying to sneak around. He's like, just our luck. 6 of his 7 stomachs must be full because he's really goddamn heavy. So then they toss Alf in the back of it, and then Mulligan goes to get in the driver's seat, and Hill's like, where do you think you're going? He's like, we're in this together. I'm going to get out of here, right? She's like, no, you've helped enough with this. You can go back and do your job. He's like, no, you're pulling rank on me? She's like, well, yeah, I kind of am. He's like, no, I'm getting in the van, and I'm going to drive away. So if you want to get in the van now, because we're going to go together. And then we come to find out that it was a motor pool van that they were using, and then apparently Alf won it in a poker contest. So now Hill's like, oh great, now he's going to charge us for mileage on top of his van. So then the two of them have this like heartfelt conversation between each other, and well, Mulligan says how he's always been a fan of Hill. He's liked her since the first day that she said, welcome to Edmonds Air Force Base. And she's like, we're going really slowly. And Mulligan's like, yeah, we got it. You know, you're my seniority. You know, we got to take things slow. She's like, no, we're going 2 miles an hour. Can we speed it up? Then we get to the gate to get out, and the guard's like, so what brings you guys out here so late? He's like, you know, stealing government supplies and selling to secret agents and stuff like that. And the guard just looks at him like, you serious? It's like, no, just joking, just out for a drive. Just out for a drive. Then they give the paper to the guard, and the guard goes into his tower to check it over. And Alf starts to wake up inside the bag. He's like, oh, where am I? Oh, yes. Being abducted by humans. That's a switch up for once. And as they're driving, Alf's like, I don't remember this part of the country before. Could be the bag, though, that I'm in. And Mulligan's like, yeah, and you're going to stay in that bag until we get where we're going, so shut up. We find out that they're going to the Arizona-Mexico border, and then they stop at the Pink Motel, and they're all staying in the same motel room together, and Alf's sitting on the bed all annoyed. He's like, you took me from my life, you know, I was close with those guys, those guys were my friends, except for, you know, all the tests they did on me. Mulligan comes back, he's like, so I checked with the front desk, and there's no room service at all. And Alf's like, shocking, surprised there's even plumbing here. And then Hill sends Mulligan out for some food, and Alf's like, chicken, burgers. And he's like, alright, chicken or burgers? He's like, no, chicken and burgers. Get me a couple of them. I like to eat a lot. I like a lot of food. We see Alf sitting on the bed, and he's like, nothing but infomercials on at this time of the hour. And we come to find out it's 3 a.m. They haven't slept at all yet. Alf's hogging the bed to himself, and Hill and Mulligan are trying to sleep sitting up on the couch. So, God knows what time of the hour it is, and Alf's jumping on the bed, where there's a bunch of food all over the place, wrappers all over the place, and then someone knocks on the door, and they tell Alf to go hide in the washroom, because, you know, he's, jump on the bed a lot. And we find out that there's a truck driver knocking on the door. He's like, yeah, so I'm a truck driver. See my truck over there? You know, drive a lot. It's pretty irritable if I can't get any sleep. It's kind of hard to get some sleep while I hear there's a lot of banging all over the place. And the truck driver just thinks that it's Mulligan and Hill just having sex the whole time. But also at this point in time, it's still dark outside, but they said it was 3 a.m. So I'm assuming it's been a couple hours now, because the truck driver woke up Mulligan and Hill because they actually fell asleep, and Alf was jumping on the bed the whole time. But then the truck driver goes away. Hill goes to check the washroom for Alf, and we find out the washroom window is open and Alf is gone. Then we look in the front of the Pink Motel, and that's where the front desk is. And this is probably when motels were very different back in the day. I'm assuming they were like this originally at one point in time, because why would they be in the movie if they weren't? But you had the front desk, and it looks like it's inside the guy's home. We see a little bit of kitchen, you see a little bit of living room, and then we just see Alf's hand come up and hit the buzzer. And the guy looks around, he's like, nobody there. And then the buzzer goes off again. There's a little bell on the front counter. So then the old drunk gets up, he's like, I wonder what's going on. And then Alf just pops up. He's like, hi. And the guy's like, what are you? Alf's looking for a phone. He's like, alright, take your time. Just take a look at me, understand that the question I'm asking you, and just answer my question. Do you have a phone? He's like, pay phone outside. So I was like, so seeing you have a pay phone outside, I'm gonna need a coat and a hat and a quarter. The old guy's like, so you're not gonna bite me, huh? He's like, not for a quarter, no. He's like, you're not from around here, are you? He's like, from Minnesota, Michigan, actually. Somewhere, yeah, the Wolverine state, you know where that is? Yeah, that's where I'm from. So then Alf uses the payphone to call back to the base, and Murphy picks up. He's like, Alf, it's a little bit too early for room service. He's like, I'm not calling for room service. Ask me where I am. I'm standing on a corner somewhere in Arizona, and it's not a very fine sight to see. Murphy doesn't believe him at all. He's like, you're telling me you're kidnapped off the base? Yeah, I was kidnapped by Mulligan and Hill. He's like, they kidnapped you? Where are they? He's like, at the motel. He's like, what are they doing at the motel? He's like, not too much. They're just good friends, you know? So then Murphy's like, so what do you want me to do? He's like, bring my cash, my clothes, maybe my pool cue. That way if I have to work for a living. And then Alf looks across the street, and there's a place called Kitty Cat Lounge, strip club, of course. And Alf's like, dinner is served. So then we see Mulligan and Hill looking around for Alf. They can't find him at all. So then Hill's like, I'm gonna go get the van, we'll go drive around and look. And then Mulligan looks across the street and sees the Kitty Cat Lounge. He's like, let me just go check over there. I got a little bit of hunch that he thought it was actual cats. And then we see Alf inside the strip club, sitting down at a table, just watching the girls dance. So then we see Elf sitting down at the table, like I said. And a waitress comes over. She's like, what are you drinking? He's like, nothing. I just want to see the menu. He's like, we don't have a menu. He's like, well, isn't this Kit Kat lunch? She's like, yeah. He's like, well, I want a big fat calico key, medium raw. And she looks down. She's like, what kind of weirdo are you? And she screams at Elf. And the security guard comes over, screams at Elf. And then Mulligan comes up behind Elf. Then Elf screams at Mulligan. He's like, we're just going to Halloween costume party. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to take my buddy out of here now, okay? Then as they're leaving, the security guard's like, I hope you guys aren't trying to win a Halloween costume parties with that because, the village people outfit's cool, but the dog suit thing, that's horrible. And then Elf's like, permission to bite the bouncer, sir? And he's like, no, we're going, Elf. Let's just get out here, Elf. And then as they're leaving the strip club, we look across the street and we see a bunch of cop cars at the motel. And the guy running the motel saw it to the officer. He's like, so you're telling me it was a Wolverine in here asking for a phone and a jacket and a quarter to use the phone? So yeah, he's from Michigan. Probably never gonna see him again though. And then we just see Elf walking by the window, sneaking in. Then Mulligan's like, what the hell were you thinking? He's like, how about we get out here before the helicopters show up? And then Hill's like, what helicopter are you talking about? Army, Navy, Marines. I might have made a phone call earlier, collect, and I might have called the base just to let them know where I was, just because I need my things. So I'm just so we got trouble coming. So then Elf's like, should I suggest a vehicle change? And Mulligan gets pissed off at him. He's like, no. And then Hill's like, we probably shouldn't be driving the military van. And then Mulligan's like, okay, fine. How exactly do you suggest we get a vehicle exchange there, Elf? He's like, just give me 5 minutes. I'll go get a vehicle. He's like, I've been outside already once, and I can get another vehicle. So then he goes back to the front desk guy. He's like, so see that van out there? I'm with the government, and we want you to have that van outside. So then I was like, so you need anything else? Some socks? I'll give you some socks, some CDs, 100 CDs, $1,000 worth of merchandise. You were nice to me. You gave me a quarter. Silly me though. I gave you my van, and I don't have a vehicle to drive at all. So I gave you socks, CDs, the van. What kind of vehicle you drive? You don't want me a little deal? I take a Cadillac. But yeah, then Elf pretty much cons a guy into giving his car keys over to him. And Elf's like, before he leaves, first chance you get though, you might actually want that van to be repainted, just so military people don't see it. Think you're military. So you might want to get that van repainted. So we see Martin Sheen's character exploring the whole compound where Elf lives, like his own little apartment building essentially. And he's looking at all the stuff. He's like, he's got a pool table, he's got a roulette table, he's got all this stuff. He's like, Lieutenant Reese, did you know he's got this stuff? He's like, oh yeah, I come down, on Thursdays nights, do a little bit of gambling stuff. He says partial bit of the proceeds go to the homeless, and Sheen's character gets pissed off. He's like, there is no homeless people on the base, you idiot. It's the next day, it's sunny out, and they're driving through the desert, and they're driving in a convertible pink Cadillac, and Elf is sitting in the back seat rapping. I think he's trying to eat some flies or insects, and he's like, hey guys, I get first dibs on licking the windshield, okay? We see them driving and driving. Mulligan's like, we've been driving on this highway for like 10 minutes now, and I haven't seen another car at all. And Hill's like, this isn't a highway, this is Dexter Moyer's driveway. So they finally get to the end of the so-called driveway where they see this giant house, and Hill's like, I'll go in, I'm gonna go talk to him. And Mulligan's like, would you hide behind the seat, please? And while hiding behind the seat, Elf pops up. He's like, hey, look, another gin bottle. So we see this secretary lady open the front door and let Hill in. And Hill wants to go talk to Dexter alone, one-on-one first, before bringing in Elf and Mulligan. And then there's this robot that comes and brings her refreshments. He's like, that's Rocket. He's our civil robot. And then they finally go to talk to Dexter. Dexter's like, you're a spitting image of your father, that's for sure. He's a wonderful guy. And then the little rocket robot comes over with some food to try and give to Hill. And she's like, no, thank you. And he's like, 0 for 2. We see Hill going back out to the car. They pull the car around the back into the back garage, and I was like, I sure hope they have a hot tub here. I'm looking forward to using it. So then Hill's like, Alf, you can come in now. And he's like, just 1 second, they have a cat. So then we just see him chasing the cat around the home, and then Hill's like, Alf, get your ass in here right now, meet Dexter, and leave the cat alone. So then Dexter is eyeing up Alf, and he's like, come on in, you're just what I've been looking for. He's like, not so soon, what's the 7th plan from the sun? And Dexter Dexter's like, Uranus. He's like, all right, McDuff, lead the way. Let's go. I trust you. So then we see Dexter and Elf sitting down at this giant table, and Elf's just pounding back the food. And Rocky comes over. He's like, would you like an 8th dessert, sir? He's like, hell yeah, dude. Bring it on, little rocket buddy. And then Dexter's like, so what was your, like, diet on Nalmac? He's like, fruits, couple kittens. You know, crazy thing, it was pretty strict. I used to be an underwear model, to be honest with you. Elf burps, and Rocky comes over. He's like, you rang, sir? He's like, no, but can you come vacuum off my lap? Nina, the secretary, needs a new spot that's clean to sit on. He's like, yes, sir. I'll bring the shop vac, and next time I'll make sure to put a tarp down for your messy ass. And then Hill's like, that's the first robot I've ever seen to have some attitude. And Dexter's like, I modeled him after my ex-wife, to be honest with you. Mulligan is, questioning Dexter because he has an odd feeling about Dexter, because apparently Dexter got kicked out of the military base, and Dexter's like, I only want to go public with everything that I found. That's why I got kicked out of the base. Everyone wanted to keep everything top secret, hidden away, and I want everyone to know what's actually lying in that base, and in the NASA project, and out there in space to begin with. So then Mulligan gets a little annoyed. He's like, you want Alf to be a public thing? You want him to be a toy? You want him to be a plushie? You want everyone to see him and have him be at the mercy of the media? He's like, don't worry about it, Mulligan. I got this guy, Nigel. He's come from a very fancy TV program. We're going to do a report. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to do it at this home base. Sometimes later that night, and we have Elf waking up Mulligan. He's like, hey, can you help me use the computer? I want to look at some stuff. And Mulligan's like, why don't you have Dexter help you? And I was like, I've never seen you like this before. And then Mulligan goes to say, there's something that bothers me about Dexter. He's like, no, I've never seen it from this angle. And I thought I had a lot of nose hair. Wow, you got a lot. So then as they're on the computer, this bid assessment thing comes up. And we see that there's a bunch of bids for Alf ranging from $60 to $80 million. And then Dexter comes in and turns off the computer. He's like, did you guys need something? I was a little confused. When the computer comes on, the security cameras turn on. And Mulligan's like, Alf just wanted to send something over there. No big deal. So then Mulligan goes to wake up Hill and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm acting like a jealous idiot, but I was just on his computer and I saw Operation Payback, and it mentions Elf and a lot of money. And then Dexter walks in. He's like, I just wanted to make sure everything was okay in here. Just make sure there's no issues. And then there's like this awkward scene between them. And it's like, good night. And then it's like, good night. And then Hill's like, good night, Rick. It's like, yeah, I guess I'll go back to my room because you don't want to listen to me. It's now the next morning. We see Elf sitting at the island eating some breakfast. And Hill finally comes in. He's like, let me break the news to her, Dex. Guess who flew the coop last night? Mulligan. He just left all his stuff, just went away. Goodbye. Dexter has this like henchman guy, like bodyguard. He's like, go find Mulligan now. We need to find him. And then we see Mulligan's in this like diner calling back to Pete at the airbase. He's like, I need a favor from you, buddy. I need you to access the databank. That's when he's asking Pete to look at the lowball scandal, which is involving Dexter. And the whole time this conversation's going on, Martin Sheen's character is listening from a security van somewhere, and they're trying to track the phone call so they can figure out where Mulligan is. And then we cut back to Dexter's spot, and we see someone measuring Alf, like his waist and his neck and stuff. He's like, I'll save you some time. I'm the same suit size as Danny DeVito. And Dex comes over. He's like, what are you guys doing? He's like, I'm fitting him for a spacesuit. I want to look as authentic as possible on TV. He's like, you are the real thing. How more authentic do you want to be? And Alf's going on about the products he doesn't want to be tied with. He's like, let's skip all the gelatinous products. I don't want to turn out like Bill Cosby at all right? Then we see Mulligan sitting in the diner still, and the waitress like, you want some more coffee? He's like, no, I'm good. And then Sheen's character pops up. He's like, I'll take some of that Java, ma'am. And then Mulligan steps up to do the little head nod thing. The salute. That's the name. I'm dumb. He does a salute to Sheen's character, and then he gets arrested and escorted out of the diner. And then Hill goes to question Dexter about the payback program that she's been hearing some people talk about. And that's what Mulligan came into the room last night to mention. He's like, don't worry, Alf's gonna be in good control. He's not gonna be in danger. He's too valuable for that. He's gonna be sold to the highest bidder, but it's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. And Hill's all pissed off at Dexter because she's like, I'm so stupid for bringing Alf into this trap. He's like, everything's gonna be fine. How about we give you $1 million and safe escort out of the country? Everything will be okay. You'll be fine. So apparently Mulligan made that phone call to the base because he knew Sheen's character was monitoring the phone calls, and he wanted him to find him. He's like, I'm ready to make a deal. I'll lead you to them, but only if you promise not to hurt Major Melissa Hill and Alf. And Sheen's like, well, why would I do that? He's like, well, if you don't find them in the next 52 minutes, Alf is not going to be a secret anymore, and the whole world's going to know about him. And you'll just be a laughing stock of the matter. So how about we work on this deal now and go get Alf back? So we see Dexter talking to like one of his head honcho guys, and he's like, make sure the bidding is only in American dollars. No rubies, no pesos, no nothing of that matter. American dollars only. Starts at 50 million and goes up by I think he said 10 million each bet. We come to see Alf, and he's got an ascot and a pipe, and Dexter's like, why's he got this? He's like, he asked for them, but I'll mail them back to Hugh Hefner now. And Alf is still oblivious that he's being sold off at this point in time. Alf's having some second thoughts about going on this TV show. And he's like, I think I could make some more money if I did like a concert tour. He's like, I want to talk to Melissa. And then Nadine, I think is her name. He's like, you can't talk to Melissa right now. She's a little bit busy right now. And then we see Melissa's actually in, I think it's her bedroom, watching the TV program. And Alf goes to run away. He's like, I gotta use the little alien's room. See you later. And we see Dexter on the Nigel Nevin show. He's like, I'm going to be vindicated tonight. There is a real alien, and he's in the studio tonight, and he's going to meet you and all your viewers tonight. And then we see them trying to get Alpha out of the washroom, and he will not come out of the washroom. He's like, I can't find the room freshener. My foot's stuck in the bidet. Take a number. Be done whenever I'm done. Then we see Dexter back on air. He's like, so Alf is a little worried about his nose, so he's powdering it. You know how it is. And then the whole picture cuts out, and Neville's like, it seems we lost our satellite footage. And then we see the base, or Charlie Sheen's character and the whole army force breaking in and being like, so footage is over now there, Dexter. We see Rick and Sheen's character in like this control room looking out the window, and somehow they don't see Alf running across the screen, it looks like. But then we see two guards carrying Alf away, and he's kicking and screaming. And then Mulligan's like, I knew you couldn't be trusted, Sheen. So this is the form for your serum to get Alf killed. And we see Mulligan sit down on like the keypad, the keyboard, to turn on the cameras to record everything that is being said. And then Sheen's character's like, I didn't actually follow that. That's actually what Lieutenant Harold Reese did. See, that's why you have lieutenants, so they can take the fall for you. So then Sheen's character takes the paperwork out of Mulligan's hand and just sets it on fire, so there's no proof about anything. But yeah, the reason why Mulligan sat on the keyboard is because anytime the computers turn on, the security cameras start to work, so that's why he was doing that, so that everything would be recorded. And then we cut and see Alf inside this jail cell where he's tied up to a chair again, and he's being circled by guards. He's like, alright guys, a 1 and a 2 and kick. Come on guys, you gotta put a little bit of effort into it. Come on, let's kick. And then Sheen's character walks in. He's like, welcome back. I was like, forgive me if I don't get up, because I'm a little bit chained down here. She's like, your escape attempt will be your last straw. We'll get rid of you. And Alf's like, what are you talking about, escape plan? I got kidnapped. Then Sheen starts blaming Alf for his mom going crazy. And I was like, your mama? I didn't do anything to your mama. I'm sure she was a great woman. I had nothing to do with her. I've never even met her. So then we see Sheen's character sitting down with Stone to talk about stuff in his office. And then Reese comes in and he's like, sir, I have a tape to show you. And he's like, I've seen enough tape about Alf, so I don't need to see another one. He's like, Alf isn't in this one, actually, sir. It has to do with you. And it's the security footage of Mulligan from the Dexter's computer room or whatever. And of course Stone is the general, and he's like, oh, okay, interesting. And then we see the committee happening, and Stone is granting Alf's release. General Stone is also making Alf the alien enforcement ambassador, I guess, and will do anything to keep him safe and happy. And he's also thanking Mulligan and Hill for everything that they did and the dedication to watching over Alf. They are all getting promoted, and Hill's like, hey, you hear that, Rick? I'm still your superior. He's like, permission to discuss this matter later? And we see Rocket popping up with some Coke and other snacks, and that's apparently Alf's secretary now. And Rocket's like, I'm in robot hell. And then Alf wants to end the meeting with the gavel, and he goes to whack the gavel down and actually hits Mulligan in the hand. And then he pops up with another gavel in the other hand. He's like, what do you do, rob a gavel truck? And then the movie ends and the outro credits start to roll, and that's the end of this movie. It's not a bad movie. It's not anything amazing, anything great by any means. I do love that the same guy's back to do Alf, and that the costume and everything looks the same. Nothing's changed. So I do like that aspect. I think it's fun. I do enjoy Alf a lot. It's got some good jokes in it here and there. On the Rotten scale out of 10, I'm giving it a solid 5.5. I think it's decent. It's not amazing by any means, but it's a fun movie and well worth the watch, so I'm definitely glad I watched it. Which brings us to our point in time where we got to pick what we're going to be watching next week. Alright, we have next week's movie decided, and you can watch it for free on Tubi if you want to. This one's starring Keenan Ivory Wayans, and it's from 1988. We're going to watch for the first time ever, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. I remember seeing the trailer, but I don't think I've ever fully watched this movie, so I'm looking forward to watching it. I like the Wayans, so it should be fun. I'm looking forward to having a good laugh, hopefully. Hopefully it's going to be a fun one. So hopefully you guys will check that out next week. And as always, make sure to check out the outro band, Toronto-based horror band Blood Opera. Find all their links down below. Main thing, you can find them on Spotify. Go like some of their songs, go share some of their stuff, and just go support them, because they support me, and that means a lot. And as always, find all my links down below as well. If you want to find me on any social media accounts, it's at Typhenstein. We're on X, we're on Threads, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, Facebook. The main thing being the YouTube channel that we've been pushing lately. We got the weekly gaming video that comes out every single Wednesday. We have various shorts, old episodes of podcasts. We do live streams over there. As well, we do live streams over on Twitch, so definitely go check out the Twitch channel. Go like it, subscribe if you want to. Go sub if you really want to. And yeah.
Go check out the live streams. Been doing a few every week, so I don't have a set schedule by any means for any of my streaming stuff, but we just do them whenever we have chance and time to do so. You know, there's a lot of stuff to be done in a day, so definitely go check all that stuff out, and I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.